Find a way, and there are some cushions behind as well. It's really a joy to see all of you, and of course to have Nayaswami Jyotish ji and Nayaswami Devi ji be with us in our presence today at Ananda, Mumbai. This is that time of the year, like every year, Swamiji's family in Mumbai, they wait like little children that they will come and share with us their gifts of love, wisdom, and energy, like you always do. And in order to welcome them, I would just like to now invite Sheila ji and Smita ji, who represent our collective love and devotion in our heart, and who would like to present a bouquet on behalf of the entire Sangha here at Ananda Mumbai. If you could all please stand up.
There are no flowers like in India. In America, maybe they might give us a single flower.
Let's all be seated again. It's truly an honor, a privilege, and a blessing to have both of you here and spend the weekend with our family in Mumbai, which actually started yesterday with their talk on creative courage, very inspirational talk at the Ananda Cafe, and then of course here at the Worli Center. Today also happens to be Dhanteras, which is the first day of Diwali celebrations actually. Now, many people in India celebrate Dhanteras by worshipping Devi Lakshmi and Lord Kuber, praying for wealth, prosperity, and abundance. But as devotees and disciples of Paramahansa Yogananda, what greater joy and fortune can we have than to have Nayaswamis, Devi ji and Jyotish ji spending Dhanteras with us today? That is the wealth and that is the abundance that we are all looking for in our lives. So, really, it's a blessing that you're here with us today. And as many of you would know, they are the global spiritual directors of Ananda's work worldwide, and they are also the founding members of Ananda. So they both came to Swamiji back in 1967 and 1969 and really helped to lay the foundation for the work, which is obviously sharing the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda globally. And more than anything else, they are truly our spiritual friend, guide, and well wishers, not just to us, but thousands of people worldwide. By awakening the true potential within each one of us, by sharing Master's teachings, that is how they have been sharing their light and their energy for so many years. Now, if we think about just for a moment, if we pause and reflect on the topic for today, which is how much longer will it take for us in anguishing monotony? I'm sure all of us have this thought to find freedom. Well, I can tell you that the wisdom that we will be receiving today is coming from more than 50 years of Kriya Yoga practice that each one of them have been doing. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to. I'm sure all of you are as well, especially even those who have joined us online. But before we go there, we will start with a chant, and then I'm going to request Jyotish ji to do a prayer and a short meditation, and we'll have a quiet post that.
There are people coming, so maybe our Ananda family was out in the other room and that the Mumbai people come.
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govind Ramana Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha 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 Ramana Govind Jai
Let's center ourselves. We're going to pray to Divine Mother and to the great masters. So awaken the natural love of the heart. And then we'll project it out through the spiritual eye. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, beloved God, Great Masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, Beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Jaya, Saints of all religions, we humbly bow to you all. Beloved Master, beloved Swamiji, we lay the flowers of our devotion gratefully at thy feet. Help us clear away all fogs of delusion until we're able to see that we have always been one with Divine Mother, that she dwells within us even now. Help us to realize our unity with her, and help us to serve selflessly and willingly to bring her light to everyone. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's have a brief meditation. Om Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
May I request the choir group to come up now?
By the way, that was such beautiful chanting. Thank you.
Just there are a few people who wanted to sing together, and we have two outstanding songs that we are going to do. One we did yesterday. Some of you were there to do it. Come. Okay. Come. There is space at the back here.
Let's move in.
Yeah, move forward.
Let's
Near to you can be next to the microphone. Okay, we are ready.
Dare to be different, dare to be free, dare to roam far like wind of the sea. Fly like a gull, soar high on the air, be strong in your courage when others despair. Never in anger, never in haste, go without pride, be never abased. Freedom is yours if freedom you give, to all give it freely, in freedom you live. Mountains that stand up tall to the sky, tell us no dreaming is ever too high. Dare to climb boldly, brave that high peak, you'll never know failure if bravely you see. Dare to be different, dare to be free, dare to roam far like wind on the sea. Fly like a gull, soar high on the air, be strong in your courage when others despair. Be strong in your courage when others despair.
The next one is called Cherish the Beat. We'll do it 3 times.
Is there anywhere on earth perfect freedom, sorrows done, selfless friendship, blameless birth, cherish these, not else has worth. Is there anywhere on earth perfect freedom, sorrows done, selfless friendship, blameless birth, cherish these, not else has
Join us if you're
worth. Is there anywhere on earth perfect freedom, sorrows done, selfless friendship, blameless birth, cherish these,
would request you to come and start the talk.
Well, thank you all for coming. I know it's a busy weekend. You're all preparing for Diwali and beginning Diwali, and we too are in a festive mood. So it's a nice time to be together. This subject today is a very important and central one, the yearning for God and the thought, how much longer, Divine Mother? How much longer do I need to wait for you? But if we imagine that she's somewhere out in the hallway or in Pune or in the astral world, and we're waiting for her to come to us, then we're picking it up from the wrong string. She's already inside of us. She's with us as much now as she will ever be. So when we say, how much longer, Divine Mother, what we're really saying is, how much longer until I realize that you're already with me, not how much longer until you'll come. And so it's all about, as Master put it, as our path puts it, it's all about self-realization. It isn't about waiting or going anywhere or traveling anywhere. Somebody once was talking about, oh, the spiritual path is so long. Oh, how long? And one of our acharyas at Ananda village, who has a very good sense of humor, he said, the path to God is not very long. It's about 3 feet from the base of the spine to the spiritual eye. And one might say it's even shorter than that. It's from the medulla to the spiritual eye. It's from the ego to the reflection of God within. And so, what we're really talking about is how much longer until I realize these truths that are already here. But that is a very important question, and how we come to that is very important. You know, yoga to a certain extent is, and I mean it in a broad sense, obviously, not just yoga and asanas, but the union with God to a large extent is the melding of what seeming opposites. You know, there's the Kundalini at the base of the spine representing a negative polarity and the positive polarity at the spiritual eye. When those come together, they're neutralized. In Patanjali, he starts out by saying, Yoga's Chitra Vritti Nirod. Yoga is the neutralization of the whirlpools of opposites. And so those opposites, those likes and dislikes, when they become neutralized, we're already in the state of yoga. That's when we realize it. And so the soul is already united with God. Another way of looking at these opposites is the ego and the soul. The ego, the ego is already the soul. It's just the soul in a state of dreaming, or the soul in a state of hypnosis, one might say. And so, as Master said, the ego is the soul identified with this body and this personality. I also really like Swami Kriyananda's definition that the ego is a bundle of self-definitions. So when we get rid of all these self-definitions, these outer definitions, these outer likes and dislikes, these outer yearnings, and realize that what we're really after has already arrived, when we relax into that state, that's when self-realization comes. So another rather seeming polarity is this intense effort of yearning, of sadhana, of kriya yoga, of daily practice of meditation, of all of that effort and the relaxation to just relax and allow Divine Mother or God, however we want to phrase it, because God is everything. We can visualize God as Ganesha. We can visualize God as Master. We can visualize God as Kali. God is everything. And so we can never get a concrete definition of God, because whatever we visualize, that's God. But it doesn't mean that's the only form of God. Um, Swami used to tell a kind of a story about a man who was very, very devoted to, I think it was Vishnu. I'm not sure whether it was Vishnu or Shiva, but anyway, he would wave incense and wave incense, and then finally, and refused to see God as Shiva, and so he would wave the incense to Vishnu, and then finally, God appeared to him as half Vishnu and half Shiva. And he waved his incense, but he reached out and closed the nostril of Shiva so that Shiva couldn't receive the incense. And of course, it's all these delusions that we hold on to in our own minds, that God is this, God is not that, God is this religion, he's not that religion, he's this way of worshiping, not that way. All of those delusions create the separation that keeps us from knowing God. It's the unity when everything comes together. That's why as our consciousness rises and expands, we begin to see everyone as our family, everyone as our brothers and sisters. And you get to the point where you cannot hold negative thoughts toward anyone without feeling something is wrong. And Swami was such a beautiful example of this universal friendship. He always signed his letters in divine friendship. And there's a book of that title. But divine friendship, and he expressed it not only to those who were close, which is natural for us. Most of you will be visiting your families this coming week, Monday especially, but you'll express love and friendship to those who are close to you. But as you're driving along the road and somebody cuts you off in traffic, will you express your divine love to them also? Probably not, because there's still that sense of I, my, me, mine that prevents us from seeing everyone as one. But the more we are able to unify these seeming polarities, the more then we're able to neutralize the likes and dislikes. And in that state, we naturally remember who we are. And so, as Swami put the definition, a bundle of self definitions, the more we release those self definitions, the more we realize that those self definitions don't define us, they encage us. They limit us. They don't make us better. I'm rich, I'm famous, I'm handsome, I'm pretty. All that does is hold us in a cage. What is the soul? Is the soul rich or not rich? It's beyond those qualities. And so what we're trying to get back to is that. But one of the polarities is that takes intense yearning for Divine Mother, or intense yearning for God, however you want to define God. And in that intense yearning, it's natural for the mind, because the senses draw us outward. That's their job in a certain way, to draw us outward, to connect us into the world of duality, of Maya. And because we are still attached to the world of the senses, it's natural for us to translate that yearning, oh, when will you come, Divine Mother, to the thought that Divine Mother is outside. But whether she's outside or inside, nonetheless, that intense yearning is very important, because ultimately God will come to us at the time that already within us. When I say come to us, not from outside, God realization will arise in our consciousness at that time when our consciousness is convinced that we want that unity above everything else. Until that time, God won't come, because our mind is still divided, one might say. We haven't unified it. Master said that, we pray to God, oh God, come to me, please come to me. He said the real prayer are those little tapes that run in the back of your mind all the time. Oh, I need to get rich. I need to get a bigger house. All of those little tapes that run in the back of your mind. He said that's your real prayer. And so until those prayers that run, those prayers become, oh, come to me, Mother, come to me, God, come to me, come to me. I can't stand not being one with you any longer. In the back of your mind, when that comes, then that's when we begin to rise to the level of consciousness where God, who's already within us, will now manifest as Master in a beautiful uh, prayer that he, Devi wrote a blog on it recently, but um, Master, in the middle of a lecture, St. Francis appeared to him. He's called St. Francis his patron saint. And in the middle of the lecture, St. Francis appeared and gave to him this beautiful poem, God, God, God. And it's a beautiful poem, but I won't quote the whole thing, but there's one stanza in it. Um, no matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind will ever keep turning on thee. In the battle din of activity, my silent war cry will be God, God, God. But when the spotlight of our mind ever keeps turning on Divine Mother, naturally, not forced, not in affirmation, just it's the upwelling of the desire of our heart. And when the little tape that runs in the background of our mind becomes God, 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 when will you come? Oh, come to me, and not wishing for other things, then it's as if the consciousness becomes clear enough. As I say, it isn't that God comes from outside, the consciousness becomes clear enough so that we are able to see that God is already inside. I had an interesting experience many, many years ago. We were with some friends and we had gone uh, canoeing. And I had a nice pair of sunglasses, Ray-Ban sunglasses. And this was in the days where we didn't have much access to have nice things. So I was a little bit attached to my Ray-Ban sunglasses. And and when we stopped, I leaned over and they fell into the water. And the water was a little bit murky and I couldn't see where they were. And I dived in this lake and I felt around. I couldn't find them. And finally, I realized that it was the ripples on the surface of the water that were preventing me from seeing where my sunglasses were. So I got we had a glass bottle. I got that glass bottle and I put it, and that smoothed out. And I looked down through the water, and there were my sunglasses. I could see right where they were, and I went down and I got them and finished my attachment to those Ray-Ban sunglasses. And so, but that smoothing out of the ripples in the water allows you to see underneath the surface. The smoothing out of the ripples in the mind, the wavelets in the mind, allows us to see down into the depths of our own being. And if what we're looking for is the presence of Divine Mother, the presence of God, we'll see, oh, you're already there. That's where you are. And we'll relate. There's a beautiful poem, prayer, affirmation. Master wrote this book, Whispers from Eternity, which he said we should read every day. And Devi and I generally, we have it in our little meditation room. And we read from it almost every day or repeat something. There's a beautiful prayer, a prayer for illumination that I've been repeating quite often. It's good to take one prayer or one chant and stick with it. And Master said the prayers and the chants that he did, he brought them up into super consciousness and empowered them. And so to take one prayer and stick with it until it penetrates into your consciousness. But this prayer begins, O, O, O Spirit, over soul, beloved Father, over soul of all creation. Come, Spirit, come. In the fires of my devotion, this is a beautiful line. In the fires of my devotion, I burn away delusion, all delusion. And so that devotion that we have, that yearning for God, burns away the delusion that prevents us from seeing that God is already within. Then it goes on in the teach me to worship thee in breathlessness and in deathlessness. In the fires of my devotion, burn away delusion. In the quiet of my soul, come, Spirit, come. Come, Spirit, come. So that yearning has to be there, but the yearning has to be for the receiving of something that's already within us. That's why I say yoga is often a kind of a neutralization of the polarity of the opposite. So deep yearning, but deep yearning for something that we already have. Isn't that an odd thing? Master said, for instance, why pray for immortality? Said it's a silly prayer. Why pray for something you already have? And so we already have these states of consciousness that we're praying for, but praying for them is also important. That's one of the oddities, because what we're really praying for is the clarity of our own consciousness, to brush away all of those ripples on the surface of our mind that keeps us from knowing who and what we already are. And so it's the factors that help us with this. One is what you're doing right now. It's satsang, because in the gathering of others who have that same desire, that same yearning for God, it's awakened, and it gets diluted. It gets kind of taken away when we go out into the world and all of the worldly desires and all of the billboards and all of the news and all of that. It's reaffirming that things are outside of ourselves when ultimately everything is only within ourselves. Master said was quite an interesting thing in one of his lectures. He said, I rarely talk this way, but I feel that Divine Mother is instructing me to do so. He said that we look at the world and we see it in three dimensions. We see depth and height and width, and those three dimensions, and the senses perceive those three dimensions. And that's the way we see the world. He said, I see the world that way, but I also see simultaneously pure consciousness. And I see all of you as just pure consciousness, just a dream of God, just a projection of God. And I see that world more clearly than I see the world of the senses. And so that's really what we're after, is to work our way toward the perception of everything as pure consciousness. And in that pure consciousness, then we see that if everything is pure consciousness, then where else could Divine Mother be except as part of that consciousness? And so we we perceive her then. But in order to get there, we have to have that intense yearning for her as if she's outside, because that clears away the surface ripples of the mind and focuses us sufficiently so that we have the magnetism for that level of awareness to finally arise within us. So, as I say, the world of yoga is the world of dichotomy. Patanjali says that samadhi is attained by offering the incoming breath to the outgoing breath, neutralizing both. And so that's the practice of Kriya Yoga that he's talking about. So the techniques that we have, the satsang that we have, the devotion to God and Guru that we have, all of that helps us burn away the delusion that we're not already what we're yearning for. God bless you.
So thank you, Jyotish. That was wonderful. Hello, friends. We have a wonderful point of discussion this morning, but before we get to that, I want to just share on a personal level. This is a very significant morning for us because this is almost the end of 3 months that we've been traveling and giving public talks, and this is the last one. And we're very happy we could. We're very happy we could be here with all of you with such beautiful devotion. You know, honestly, we come once a year to Mumbai, but the devotion here is very beautiful, and the depth and there are many people here that we see year after year, and that's the secret, continuity of the path. But also hello to our people online. Welcome. So, how long, Divine Mother? I'd like to start with a story that I heard Swami tell very early on after I came to Ananda. So that was more than 50 years ago, but it's always stuck with me. And in this story, a young man comes to his guru's ashram, and his guru receives him, gives him diksha, and gives him the assignment, I want you to carry firewood from the forest. It's a forest hermitage for the cooking stoves. And the young man begins, and every day he'll go out to the forest and he gathers firewood and brings it in. Every day goes on, time goes by. Finally, one day he's carrying the firewood, and one of the logs begins to fall from his arms, and it pulls out a lock of hair from his head. And he looks, and he sees that the hair is white. And he pauses and he thinks, oh my, I came here as a young man. My hair was black. I was strong and young. Now I have grown old and my hair is white. And all of this time has gone by and I haven't found what I was looking for. And he starts to cry. And just then his guru comes rushing up and catches his tear. And he said, my son, don't you know that if the tear of a soul as great as you would touch the earth, it would cause 7 years of famine? And then he touches him, he blesses him, and he goes into God realization. And so we don't know the level. We just keep trying. We keep trying. Someone last night, we had a very nice satsang at the cafe, Ananda Cafe, and someone asked the question, how do we know if we're growing spiritually? Well, basically, we don't. That's where faith comes in. Faith and devotion. We just keep trying, and we keep trying. But then you get to the point, if your devotion is strong enough, where you just say, Lord, however long it takes, it doesn't matter to me. And then there's another story. This is from the life of Chaitanya, where he was having a satsang with his disciples. And one disciple raised his hand and said, Lord, or Master, will I find God? He said, yes, you will find God in this lifetime. And they all got very enthusiastic. Oh, let's get in on this news here. Another raised his hand. Will I find God? Yes, you will find God in 2 lifetimes. And on and on. And there was one disciple that everyone recognized. He was the purest soul. He was the humblest soul. He was the closest to the Guru. He was the most devoted. And they kept saying, ask, ask. And no. Finally, they kept pushing and pushing, and he capitulated and he said, all right, Master, when will I find God? And Chaitanya paused and he said, you will find God in 100 lifetimes. And he rushed out of the room. And they were all shocked because they thought, well, he's the most advanced. And they tells him 100 lifetimes. But then Chaitanya just gestured. And this disciple was out on the little veranda dancing in joy. And the other disciples came out and they said, friend, brother, didn't you hear what he said? 100 lifetimes. And this disciple said, brothers, didn't you hear what he said? Didn't you hear what he said? He said I would find God. Who cares how long? And that's the truth of it. Who cares how long? If we know, we will do it. And how do we know we will do it? Well, that's where faith comes in. You know, one of my favorite quotes of Master that I read some years ago, and it's always stuck with me. And I want you to remember this because it will be your torch guiding you forward. Master said, I remember the day when for the first time, unlooked for, from behind the clouds of drudgery, of routine meditating habits, there burst upon my consciousness the aurora of bliss, joy indescribable. Burst upon my consciousness, for unlooked for, from behind the clouds of drudgery of routine meditating habits. And we have to hold, that's the important point. We have to live in the joyful expectation that it could happen any moment. It could happen, just like in autobiography, when Master's meditating, he's come back to Sri Yukteswar's ashram, and Sri Yukteswar calls him down after Master kind of disobeyed his guru, and he comes back and he calls him down and he touches him and he goes into cosmic consciousness. He wasn't expecting it at all. So unlooked for, behind the clouds of drudgery, of routine meditating habits, we have to hold that expectation. Maybe it will be today. Maybe, and if it's not today, don't look back and say, well, didn't happen yesterday, doubt if it'll happen today. No, every day you hold that expectation, joyful. Maybe it's today, unlooked for. And that leads us to the most important point in our journey. All of you, each of you, are here because you have some connection with our Guru, Yoganandaji. And remember in the wonderful chapter where in autobiography where Master meets Sri Yukteswar, and then he spends, it's about 10 years. He doesn't mention the time, but if you kind of read between the lines, it's only about 10 years that he has with Sri Yukteswar before he sends him over to America. And so it's not a long period of time, but he was an avatar. He just needed the skills to face the consciousness of the materialistic West. And but Master says, when I found my guru, I reached the safe harbor, and I knew that I would find what I was looking for. So each of us in this room has some connection with Yogananda, whether you've taken discipleship, whether you've had Kriya initiation, but that is the most, once you have that, you just say, my way is clear. No matter what karma I have before me, no matter how other people disappoint me or whatever, you just say, I keep focused on the fact that Master has accepted me as his disciple. And that's the point. We think we choose. We don't choose. God, Swami said, from the moment that each soul, each of us, separates from the unity with cosmic consciousness, with God, there is a God ordained guru who will lead us to unity, return unity with God for each one of us. And here we sit in this room with this glorious avatar who has directed our lives. We've discovered the God ordained guru that from the beginning of millions of incarnations, we've been looking and looking and looking. And then one day we see that picture, we see that face. Uh, I was a very little girl when I first saw the picture of Yogananda. I was probably 3 or 4 years old because I couldn't read yet. And I remember looking at the pages of this magazine my father had. And there must have been an advertisement for autobiography of a yogi. And I remember just little girl looking at that. Who is that? Who is that? And it looked familiar, but I was just living in the Midwest of America with parents who were just traditional good people, very good people. But that connection, the connection with the Guru is eternal. And when you say, how long, Divine Mother? What difference does it make? Live with joyful expectation. Keep the tie with the Guru and just put your faith in him. I have come to you at last after incarnations of wandering in the wilderness. And now it is up to you. I will do my best. And Master said, for those who come to me with sincerity and commitment, no one goes home empty-handed. That's it. And what does that mean for the Guru to say that? Empty-handed, it doesn't mean we get filled with riches and Diwali gifts. It means we find God. That's what it means not to be empty-handed. And so I will close just saying, how long? It's up to us. The promise has already been given. The divine light is with us. We just have to have faith that the moment will come from behind the clouds of drudgery, of routine meditating habits, unlooked for, the aurora of bliss. Each one of us, don't doubt, each one of us will have that moment. It's inevitable. It can't be otherwise. It's why these great ones came. They didn't come just to create centers or communities. All that's nice. But they came so that we would find God. And that's their purpose. And all we have to do is get in the flow of that stream, and we too will find it. So cling to that thought. Let it be the pole star of your life. And if we do, we will all come to that moment where we no longer say, how long, Divine Mother? We will say, oh, it was always here. God bless you. So, I guess I'm done.
No, we can't let you go. There's so much more we want to learn from you today. Is there anything more to do?
sorry.
I just wanted to say.
Please, I'm so sorry.
Okay. No, I want. So Nyati asked us if we would give her a spiritual name. And so we thought we would give it now and bless her in front of everyone. So please come. So then her new name, her spiritual name, is Mirabai. And we bless her. So now
Thank you so much, Jyotish ji, Devi ji, for sharing the pearls of wisdom, all the anecdotes, all the stories. And, I really hope for all of us with Master's blessings that from this moment onwards, we can really live in that joyful expectation that God's ecstasy can come to us anytime. And it is not going to come from outside, like you said. God is already within us. So thank you so much once again. Um, Now, we may not have enough time for an informal interaction with both of them today, but they have agreed to spend another 20-25 minutes or so answering some of the questions which we have already received from many of you in advance. So, I will now request, should I say Brahmachari Mirabai? It's going to take me some time. Yeah, maybe you can be there and then.
maybe we have two mics instead of these.
Yeah.
So put the stand on the other side.
Okay.
So our first question that we have received is how to reconcile the path of wisdom and the path of devotion into our daily practice, as both seem equally important for a Kriya yogi.
So, how to reconcile the path of wisdom and the path of devotion? All of us are made up of many aspects. We have the feeling nature, which when we purify it, it becomes bhakti yoga. It's the devotion of the heart toward God. We have the mind, which when purified becomes jnana yoga, the wisdom, the path to God of that. But and karma yoga, when we purify our service to God, it becomes karma yoga. What makes these real paths that will achieve yoga is that we have to purify those elements within us. And the path of Raja Yoga combines all of those, just as a king combines the various districts in his realm together. And so they aren't at war with each other, but each of us generally has some nature that is stronger than the others. And we don't need to force ourselves to go against our own nature. It's much better, generally speaking, to develop the strength that we already have than to try to neutralize our weaknesses, to put our energy positively. So if we're more drawn to devotion, then chant a lot, keep calling to God, keep offering ourselves, and that purification will naturally. Where does real wisdom come from? Not from the mind. It comes from intuition. And so, any of these paths, as we rise in the purity of them, the intuition that is true wisdom will arise within us. And so, Master said, for instance, that when he tried to do anything without calling on Divine Mother's grace and offering it to her, he said it always failed, no matter how much willpower he put into it. But if it had her blessing, it always succeeded. So, whatever our nature is, wisdom, devotion, but we all have all of them. Offer it to Divine Mother, and our consciousness will rise, intuition will develop, and then we'll know how to act in this world.
And just briefly to also add, you know, deep devotion, what does it lead to? It leads to oneness with God and Guru, which is the highest wisdom. And deep wisdom, where does it lead to? The realization that God's love is the only reality. So they're not separate. If you pursue any one of them, they lead you to the same goal. And we just go by our own nature. But as Jyotish said, develop those natural tendencies that you have, because that will be your roadmap to freedom.
Well, thank you so much for this direction that you both gave through this answer. We have next question now. God knows what one needs. Hence, best not to ask for anything and accept what comes to you gracefully. Then why the affirmations? And also, what's the difference between manifestations and affirmations? So, kind of two questions.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start with the first one. You did the
All right.
second one. So that's a very good question. If God already knows what we need, why ask for anything? Well, our prayers are like little breadcrumbs on a trail. First, we pray before we maybe have a guru. Oh, let me have this, let me have that. And then as we become more serious spiritually, we don't pray for outward things. You know, there's a story of uh, the young of a young girl who was a saint, and she, whenever she prayed for someone, they would be healed. And they one day she became very sick. No, I'm telling the story wrong. I believe it was an autobiography, but the point is, she didn't want to pray for herself. And then finally she became ill, and her friends said, "Oh, why don't you heal everyone else? Why don't you pray for yourself?" And so she acquiesced, and she did. And the guru came and said, "What is this? You're praying for yourself? What difference does this make if you're well, if you're sick?" So, but that's a stage along the way where we realize, I don't want to pray for anything. And Swamiji was like that. He had very poor health for many, many years. Someone asked him once, "Are you taking other people's karma?" And he never wanted to let us think that way, but he just said, "We all have to do our part," meaning, yes, he was. But he never prayed for himself. He only would pray that God's will be done. And if whatever happens, however difficult, if you can go within and say, "Lord, what are you trying to teach me through this experience?" Not change it, make it better, give me what I want, but what am I supposed to learn from this? And accept it. Then it becomes a prayer that God will respond to. He will show you, or she will show you, this is what you need to learn from this experience. And then it becomes a path to freedom. And so to pray for why pray for anything? We learn over time what prayers to offer. And ultimately, the highest prayer is for the welfare of others and that we may be freed from the ego.
Yes, one might also think that everything is pure consciousness, and a prayer kind of moves energy. If you think of the brain, it moves energy through from one neuron through the neurons to another part of the brain. So the prayer, it's all one aspect, but the prayer for others especially helps energize the flow of prana, the flow of grace to that person. Secondly, it's very important for us that we pray for others, because that expansive quality within us helps us be connected with others. But as Devi was saying, don't pray especially for things for yourself, because really prayers are answered through increasing self-forgetfulness. There's a beautiful story. One day Krishna and Arjuna were walking along, and they came upon a beggar, and he was begging, and Arjuna, out of the desire to help, had a purse with some coins in it, and he gave that to the beggar. And uh, they went on, Krishna and Arjuna went on their way, and the next day they came and they saw the same beggar there begging. And they said, "We just gave you a bag of gold. What happened?" He said, "There must have been a dacoit watching, because as soon as you left, he came and he robbed me and took that." And Arjuna, feeling very bad, had a beautiful ruby ring, and he gave that to the beggar. And the next day they came and they saw the beggar sitting there again. And they said, "Now what happened?" And the beggar said, "Well, I was going home, and I was in a boat crossing the river, and I wanted to show everybody the generosity, and I held up the ruby ring, and the boat rocked and it fell into the water, and a fish grabbed it." And so Krishna said, "Well, let me give him something." And he gave him a single pice. And Arjuna thought, "Well, what can that do any good?" And the next day, they were in a crowd watching this man. And with this single pice, he came to the fish market, and he thought, "I can't do anything with this, but maybe I can use this single pice to get a fish and allow it a life and let it go." And so he bought a fish, put it in the water, and as he did so, he looked and he saw the ring inside the fish. And so he got the ring and he said, "Look what I found." And the dacoit was in the crowd and said, "Oh, he's discovered me. Oh, here's your purse back. Here's your purse back." And so the beggar got both the purse and the ring, because when he began to offer something for other people, it opened up the flow of grace for him to receive what he wanted. And so it is with us as we offer prayers for other people, not for ourselves, but for others. It opens up the flow of grace to come and grant us. Master said that the channel is blessed for that by that which flows through us. So the prayers for others ultimately are much more effective for ourselves than the prayers for ourselves.
And then, did we answer the second part?
Yes. The second part was how are affirmations going to help here?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the difference
Yeah.
between manifestation and
Difference
affirmation.
between affirmation is the hope for something, or the repetition of a state of consciousness that we haven't yet achieved. And uh, the manifestation is achieving that state of consciousness. So there's a statement, "Fake it until you make it." So affirmation is faking it. Realization or manifestation is making it.
But further, what affirmations do is they change the thought patterns.
Right.
So you can be
Very-
saying, oh, I'm not any good, oh, God isn't going to watch me. And that's an affirmation. But like, for example, the affirmation, I will go forth in perfect faith in the power of divine good to bring me what I need at the time I need it. That changes the grooves in the brain, as Master talked about. And then little by little, it manifests.
Right.
So whatever we think, we produce. If we think, I'll never find God, you've answered your own question. If you think, I will find God that in the right time, in the right moment, then that's what you're affirming and that's what you'll manifest.
Affirmation is very, very important to get the mind in the right state.
As you said, to soften the ripples of the mind.
Exactly.
It's going to help
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And our third question here is, while we know that Master's guidance was to focus on Kriya while continuing to our duties as a householder, is it okay to leave our job and focus on the spiritual path at a stage where we have the ability to fulfill our householder responsibilities without even needing to work? So basically,
There's a lot of,
Right.
could you all hear that? It's a
Right.
very interesting question because there's a lot of twists and turns in it.
Yes. Well, there's a deep, important answer. Yes. You know, when we get to a certain point where we don't need to seek material wealth anymore, then we should, before the end of life, we should turn our minds more and more toward God as soon as we can. Master had his second most advanced disciple, he said, was a man named Oliver Black. And Oliver Black was a spiritual teacher, but he was also a businessman. He lived in Detroit, Michigan, and he had a company that produced parts for many of the big car makers of the day. And he was a very wealthy man, but he was very, very busy running his business. And there came a certain point where Master began urging him, just let the business go, sell the business to someone, and just focus on God. But for whatever the reasons, Oliver Black couldn't follow that advice. And Master, I saw several letters where Master increasingly urged him, let go of the outward activity. You don't need to do that anymore. Become a channel for God. Do that full time. Finally, Oliver Black did that. I happened to meet him late in his life, but he was a very advanced soul. But very much like this question here, if you have achieved the level of material comfort or material security where you don't need to work anymore, then turn your consciousness ever increasingly toward God and toward serving God, because that's the fulfillment that will come to the soul when really the material success that you've received has been a gift from God. And when we receive a gift, we must share it with others.
Yes, but remember that try to tune into God's will before any big decision, because even though maybe we don't need to work to provide income, maybe there's another reason. Maybe it's to help people. Maybe it's to create an opportunity for others to find occupation. So just really every choice, try to feel, God, what is my next step spiritually? How can I be in tune with your will? And if we can just let our life be guided by trying to tune into God's will, the choices become very simple and obvious. And it's not that important, really, whether, look at Lahiri Mahashaya. My God, he was an avatar, and he continued to work as an accountant till late into his life. I mean, he didn't need to do that, but it was to create an example for all of us. You can be in absolute God consciousness and still serve in the world. So, just in a way, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is that we let each step we take, each decision, each action be in alignment with, as much as we can, with God's will for us.
The outer form is not all that important. It's where the focus of our mind is. So if staying in your occupation keeps your mind away from God because you're too focused on all of the details, then you need to, but even within that, if you can hold your mind much more on God, then that's where it's important, is where your consciousness is.
And it's like God, God, God.
God, God,
Yeah.
God. No matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind.
The next question is, when outwardly nothing seems to move, how can we keep our inner connection alive and receptive to Divine Mother's grace?
Nothing seems to move, meaning no
Yeah.
spiritual
Yeah.
growth. Okay.
Well, this is undoubtedly the common experience of everybody in the room. We try, and nothing seems to move. There's a beautiful story of the guru was going away, and he told this man there was a huge boulder in the courtyard, and the guru said, "That's not a very sightly thing. Try to push it away." And so the guru was away for many months, and every day the man went out there and pushed and pushed and pushed, and it didn't seem to move at all. And finally, after 6 months or so, the guru came back, and the man apologized and said, "Master, I tried and I tried, but I couldn't move the boulder." The guru said, "I knew you couldn't move the boulder, but look how much stronger you've become from that daily pushing." And so, yes, we have to keep trying and trying. It's the effort itself, which is really an affirmation in a certain sense of what our soul is yearning for. And so, even though it doesn't seem to come, after all, we've had certainly several hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of incarnations to get us to this point in our spiritual evolution. And so to think that uh, by a few paltry meditations and affirmations that now I've put in so much effort, you have to come to me, Divine Mother. We have to just clear our consciousness, and then we'll see that she's already with us. So yes, we have to keep making the effort, but um, have the expectation, as Devi said, that God could appear at any time.
There's that wonderful story that Master tells of uh, the Lord sends his helper Narada down to the earth to find his most evolved devotee. And he goes all over and looks here and looks there. And then finally he finds this Himalayan yogi who's been meditating for 14 hours a day. And he talks with him and he says, "Oh, yes, I've been meditating for decades and all many hours a day. And if you're looking for the most advanced devotee, then you found him." And Narada dutifully takes it all down, and then but he keeps going, and he sees this. He's just about to return to the Lord, and he sees this man kind of weaving his way around a agricultural field, and he's trying to put the fence post in, and and Nard is sort of intrigued, and he thinks, "Oh, this man's maybe a little bit drunk or something like that," and then he just he oh, I forgot an important part. The Lord says, uh, so he come, I'm getting the story mixed up, I've got it now. So he goes back and he said, well, Lord, I think I have found the most advanced disciple. It's this Himalayan yogi, and he's been meditating. But then I also saw this funny little fellow who was chanting your name, but trying to get the fence post in the hole. I think he was a little bit drunk. And the Lord thinks about it and he says, okay, go back down and tell both of them that I'm very busy passing camels through the eye of a needle, and I will come to them when I'm finished. And so he tells the Narada goes down and he tells the Himalayan yogi, the Lord will come to you when he's finished passing camels through the eyes of a needle. And the yogi says, what? After all I've done, I have to wait for him to do this? Forget this, God. I'm going back to the world. And then he tells the little inebriated man, and he said, the Lord will come to you when he's finished passing camels through the eye of a needle. And this little man says, the Lord can do anything. I am happy to wait. And then Narada understands that it's not the outward, but it's the inward consciousness. So we just don't know. We just have to, right attitude is everything. Humility, service, devotion, forgiveness, focusing on the positive, forgetting the chaos of the world. This is the consciousness that pleases God. And if we are doing this, you can rest assured that the goal is there for you.
Swami used to tell a joke about this priest who died and was in front of St. Peter and was waiting to be accepted into heaven. And St. Peter kept ignoring him and not paying any attention. And then finally, one day, this shabby looking fellow who had old clothes on came also to the pearly gates, and St. Peter said, Joe, you've arrived. And this priest wondered, why are you paying attention to this shabby fellow when I've been giving all these sermons for all these years? And St. Peter said, well, this is Joe, and he's a New York cab driver. And I'll tell you this, many more people prayed sincerely in the back of his cab than ever prayed in your church.
And this brings us to the last question. And in a way, the satsang and these answers that you're giving has already answered this question. But please help us to understand more on this question. Master spoke about the moments when Divine Mother finally revealed herself after a very long waiting that Master had. And the question is, what changed in that moment in his consciousness happened that allowed Divine Mother to respond to him?
That makes it sound as though we are the cause.
Yeah.
We are not the cause.
Yeah.
It's when the karma is right, when that moment is right, when the time for our liberation has come, then God appears. So what changes? I don't think we can say what has changed within us. It's all God's time. It's all God's will. And all we can do, just like the proud yogi or the humble farmer, if we think when, we can't think when. We just think, I love you. I love you. Just the way there's a wonderful little child who's here with his parents. His name is Kriya. And, you watch him with his parents and he's so loving with everyone. And it's like he's not waiting for his parents' love. He just loves them. He loves them because it's in his heart. So if we wait for God to give us something, that's not the right attitude. We just love. We love God. And in that, without expectation, total self offering, all of those things, if we can have that, then the moment comes where we realize, oh, okay, you were always with me. I just didn't see.
Master said that God is not a merchant. You can't go and say, God, I've given you so many kriyas, now you have to come. He said that attitude won't bring it. It's pure love. It really always comes down to just love and devotion And acceptance, yearning, yes, but yearning, accepting that Divine Mother loves us much more. Where does the yearning come from? It comes because a little bit of her love is being expressed through us back to her. And she's pure love. And when we can relax into that love, if you read the autobiography, that chapter, Experience in Cosmic Consciousness, it's very interesting. There's a section in there where Master comes back after having been away from Sri Yukteswar, and Sri Yukteswar just acts as if nothing has happened. Let's go and have some lunch. And Master said that pure acceptance, that absolutely pure acceptance, somehow fulfilled a need for love in him. And it was as if that final little drop of fulfillment of his heart in love came, and then the next day or the day after, Sri Yukteswar gave him the experience of cosmic consciousness. But that fulfillment of love by love is really the key to it all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Sachin looks like he has something to say.
Yes.
Right, who's this?
Good catch.
Well, the Festival of Lights just got brighter today. And we couldn't have a much more blessed and very sublime Diwali than in the midst of Jyotish and Devi ji. It's much more than an act of serendipity that they are here. They conclude their 3 months of travel in Europe and Mumbai and India with being in Mumbai and sharing these profound teachings with us. Each utterance of theirs is chiseled with spiritual depth and wisdom. And of course, I'll try to do the impossible, but I'll just hazard a try. Ananda Sangha will like to express our profuse thankfulness and gratitude for being here. Many
Thank
thanks.
you.
And because it's under their venerated tutelage that we get to know these profound teachings with much more depth and clarity. Uh, and now I would like to invite Jignasa and Nina to just give a small token on our behalf to Jyotish and Devi ji. Many, many thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. We're like little children. I mean, Diwali is here, so we have to open our presents.
Oh.
Oh,
I believe these are translating earbuds.
yes. You know, when we travel, Apple has these new AirPods. When combined with the phone, will automatically translate from one language into another. So I don't know whether it'll do Hindi.
It's okay. You don't need to open it.
It's fine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
These
And,
are wonderful.
and I guess do you have something more to say? Okay, so we just want to invite, we're not going to bless each of you individually, but just we'll close with a prayer for all of you. And yeah, we can keep it on. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
friend, beloved God,
friend, beloved God,
Great Masters,
Great Masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Shri Yukteswarji,
Swami Shri Yukteswarji,
beloved Guru,
beloved Guru,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
saints of all religions,
saints of all religions,
we humbly bow to you all.
we humbly bow to you all.
Beloved Master,
Beloved Masters,
beloved Swamiji,
beloved Swamiji,
we thank you for your presence,
we thank you for your presence,
guiding us ever forward
guiding us ever forward
towards your light,
towards your light,
your joy,
your joy,
your love.
your love.
We offer ourselves to thee
We offer ourselves to thee
without any hesitation.
without any hesitation.
Receive us,
Receive us,
bless us,
bless us,
unite us with thee.
unite us with thee.
And Jyotish and I send out our blessings to all of you. And we hope that you hold the light of our Guru in this wonderful city of Mumbai. Hold it strong and may it radiate out through all of you to all whom you meet. Om. Peace. Amen.
Do you want to sing them?
So we will leave you now, and we leave tomorrow back to
Just a minute.
California.
Go with love? Go with
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it was only barely 90 minutes back that I said that we wait for this time every year. But these 90 minutes were wonderful and beautiful, even though it is coming to an end. And like you mentioned, they've been traveling for the last 3 months since July, Assisi, Spain, different parts of India. We had the wonderful SRW as well. So now that Mumbai is the last port, let's all join together on behalf of the entire Sangha in India, not just Mumbai, to send them master's blessings on their way on the journey back home. 22 page number in case you have the book. Go with love, may joyful blessings speed you safely on your way. May God's light expand within you. May we be one in that light someday. Go with love, with joyful blessings, speed you safely on your way. May God's life expand within you. May we be one in that light someday. May we be one in that light someday.
Thank you all. Well, think of the sweetness of all of you as the dessert that we're having before we make our trip home. Thank you.
And as Vasudev escorts them out, let's sing Joy, Joy, Joy for them. Joy, 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 ever new joy, 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 ever new joy, 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 joy. Ever new joy, 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 joy.
ever new joy, 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 ever new joy, 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 ever new joy, 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 ever new joy, 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 ever new joy.
Well, there is no reason for us to stop singing this song.
The joy just went. Joy just went with that. Joy.
But
Some joy.
I just want to say thank you so much for all of you to come to the center today. You know, it's never the same when we are watching this online.